When I started dancing, you would usually hear that in order to dance tango, you constantly have to lean towards each other. In tango, you always lean. I still hear that a lot from people who come to our classes. That's why we want to clarify that aspect of dancing tango. Is it actually true that in order to dance tango correctly, you always have to lean towards each other? In contrast to the still very common cliche that in tango we should always lean towards each other, we actually have 3 different what we call biomechanics available to us as dancers. That is the same in every couple dance. We can stand vertically without leaning at all. We can lean towards each other, and we can lean away from each other. In our classes, we call these 3 biomechanics extension, neutral, and compression. Although we hear a lot that in tango, leaning towards each other is preferred or most common, all 3 have their places in tango dancing. What are the specific advantages of those 3 biomechanics? From being vertical, we can enter into a state of compression, it's kind of exaggerated, and of extension very quickly, very easily. So we can see the vertical position as the basis from which we move into the other 2. Also, in tango, we expect a person to basically be made up of 2 main lines, a vertical line that goes from the head through the torso, through the standing leg, and an inclined angle line exemplified by the free leg. So this is kind of like a typical tango shape, and the vertical biomechanic goes very well with that kind of aesthetic, making it very useful for stage dancing. Leaning towards each other creates a different kind of connection compared to not leaning at all. We do need to use a little bit of strength in our arms, in the muscles in our back, in our pectoral muscles, in the torso. So it kind of intensifies the activity in the body, and it enables us to take longer steps at a slow rhythm together than we would be able on our own. So the leaning towards each other, the compression biomechanic, is very useful for doing a lot of walking movements, linear walking movements, making movements very intense, kind of like the time-lapse in sports, where movements are being played back, slowed down in order to make you feel them more intensely. In tango, we try to achieve the same effect by moving together as a couple with large movements at a slow speed, and leaning towards each other helps us do that. The extension becomes hugely useful as soon as we start doing turns. As soon as the couple starts turning, the centrifugal energy, centrifugal force will start pulling us away from each other. And in order to stabilize ourselves towards each other, we must lean away from each other. If we lean away from each other, we pull ourselves towards each other, thereby stabilizing ourselves against the centrifugal force created by the turn. As you can see here, using an extension of the embrace enables us to place our feet close together, still maintaining enough distance on the level of the embrace and of the hips, stabilizing the turn and giving it more dynamic. Most of the common sequences and elements in tango are kind of based on the turn, or on the ocho, which in itself is just part of the turn. So using an extension in the embrace more often will make a lot of things much more easy. So in our experience, if something is difficult, if something seems to be difficult, dancing the sequence using a slight extension in the embrace makes everything just so much more simple. So we hope that our little overview over the 3 biodynamics in tango, the vertical, the extended and the compressed positioning in the couple, has helped you find a different perspective on how we connect, which kind of sequence is best danced, in which biomechanic, and how we can use a change from being vertical into an extension to make certain difficult elements more easy for us.